Welcome to another episode of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, Fate of Simarin, a homebrew campaign made by HellFirePvP. Speaking of, let's do some introductions. HellFirePvP!
Hi, I am gonna DM this campaign and play everything you guys have to fight, encounter, or the rest.
Indeed. And then straight down and to the left of him, which actually he's the Mind Flayer over there in the corner. We're borrowing the art temporarily from Steve's sketches. Thank you very much for the loan. Check him out on ArtStation. Link will be down in the YouTube description if you guys are watching this on YouTube. But just down and to the left of the Mind Flayer, we've got Nerevar.
That's me. And I'm playing as this group designated Bard, goblin by the name of Quilby.
Indeed. And then next to him, as you see, there is a Furbolg similarity. Currently without camera today, but she is here. We have Lyssa.
I am playing Sarren. I am a Furbolg druid, and I'm completely lost in the city, so we'll see how this is going to
go. Don't worry, we'll catch you up. And then just next to me here, we've got Kashcah.
Hi, I'm Kashcah. I'm playing Giya, a turtle barbarian.
And I'm Vallen. I will be playing as a half-orc eldritch knight by the name of Celes. And let's get into a bit of a recap. When last we were playing, we were going to the Southgate area and found the Dragon's Scriptorium, where somebody was, we were told, would be able to identify certain magical objects currently hanging around a half-orc's neck, or was not long since. Giya asks Celes to identify the amulet, and attempting to do so causes an explosion of force damage, breaking the counter and hurting Giya, Quilby, and Celes. Celes believes the amulet is inhabited by a powerful magic and can charm people. During the conversation, Celes reveals that she knew Furnace, and that she was investigating an old city that fell into the ocean or was cut off somehow. The ruins are a couple of days northeast from Giya. Celes also thinks Furnace was looking for or using a pure onyx as a catalyst or focus. Then we headed on to the docks, our primary job requirement. After patrols and some inspections, we found 4 crates with a false bottom and weapons in the hidden compartment. The crates were being shipped by the Ivory Field Trade Association. Eventually, the crates with hidden weapons were picked up and delivered to an Ivory Field Trade Association building. Quilby went to the nearest tavern and collected a small group of drunk people and created a street party as a distraction. Sarren kept watch while Giya and Celes climbed over the wall. While the party carried on, Celes and Giya began searching the house. Giya found a dagger with dried blood and 2 potions and a key. Celes found stairs down to a basement, and they both proceeded down, using the key found previously to open doors into a larger area. In the first room, they encounter a sword stuck in the floor. As they explore further, they hear someone hammering. I believe to catch you currently up there, Sarren, last you were watching the alleyway where we had climbed the fence wall to this building that we are now in the basement of. And you were keeping people out of the alley, though it was getting a little bit more challenging because of Quilby's efforts to cause a small distraction. He instead created Mardi Gras, of which everybody was just kind of getting hammered out in the streets, and they were all pushing against each other and the front gates, and you were having a good time, actually, on the edge of it. So, Hellfire? Anything you care to add?
No, not quite. I think that was everything. So you two are now down in the basement, Giya and Celes, and you hear a bit further down the hallway sounds of someone knocking on wood, it seems. And then there's a bit of silence, and then it continues. Somewhere in that pattern.
Okay. Celes says in a whispered voice, trying to keep it as quiet as possible, to Giya, excuse me, I was expecting it to be abandoned. No one home. This complicates things.
I agree.
Silent? Like, are you whispering or you
Yeah,
just...
no, I'm
not
whispering.
whispering?
I agree. I agree, Celes.
She's doing a stage whisper.
Maybe we should see if the others can help.
I think so. There's enough of a crazed crowd and riot going on out there.
I wouldn't call it a riot.
Well, it sounds not loud
Big
enough.
street party.
That we might be able to get the others in as well.
Maybe.
Let's go get them. And so, I have to admit, I don't remember the route we took to get in here, and I don't want to start going into the wrong
the
rooms.
door to the north, right? I think.
Yeah, you came from the door behind you. Yep.
Ah, thank you.
And there you came from the door, the double doors to the right, and down from stairs.
Okay. And again, Celes is going to say, I don't trust that sword. And she'll kind of go around this and out that way.
So yeah, you both head up, you both go through the door that you previously unlocked and head up the stairs to find yourself again near the stairs that went down to the basement.
Okay.
Maybe I should keep watch here. Just to make sure nobody exits.
You just don't want to go through the double windows again, do you?
No, I really don't.
You're going to have to at some point.
I understand.
Excuse me.
But I can minimize that.
Which way was it to the front doors?
To the front doors?
Yes, I'm going to go see if it's, crazy out the front window, and if so, then maybe I could just walk out the front door.
I point to this door here.
Says, what do you think I need to be all sneaky to get out?
I mean, I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll go through the double windows. So she comes down here and hops out through the window.
Mm-hmm.
As you're leaving, I say, don't forget there's a rope over the wall.
Yeah. And she proceeds down, which actually I should probably draw something like that. We had, I think it was here.
As you step out the building through the windows, you can still hear the faint sounds of music in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of commotion.
And she comes, she comes down to the rope, and she tries calling over the wall, because she feels that the rope is somewhat slack. And she calls over the wall to Sarren. Sarren! Sarren!
Through the music and the laughter and the commotion, you don't hear Celes whispering.
Sarren!
I'm just like dancing around, like dancing in the air.
She just starts like she actually feels Luna nearby and calls Luna over and tries to get Luna to get Sarren. So then Luna flies over and starts flapping towards you and behind you, trying to get your direction to change into the alley.
I look up. I'm like, oh, hey, what are you doing over here?
And Luna lands on the top of the gate, spikes or whatever.
I'll look around and make sure nobody's watching, and I will kind of sneak off. Over.
You were on one side making sure that we could actually hold the. You were going to hold the rope so we could escape. Just so that you're aware.
Okay, yeah, my map went all wonky on me when I moved my toe. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of walk along, the rope.
Yep, it's pretty much right here, and then you'll hear Celes potentially, maybe calling, not quietly anymore because she's just trying to get over top of the crowd. She's calling for you. You see the rope kind of moving a little bit here and there.
So you're gonna climb over the wall using the rope?
Not unless she knows that it's being held on the other side.
I don't know, that question was for you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll kind of climb up and peek over, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Do you hear all the music?"
Says yes. Where's Quilby?
I'm like, "Where the music is? Where else do you think?"
And she looks down at the front gate, like in the direction of the front gate. Obviously, she can't see the front gate.
Through the windows, you can kind of get a glance, maybe.
Oh yeah, I
One
didn't even think about
short
that.
corner.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's just the front gate is just more or less. It is still closed, but there is a lot of people on the other side.
She says, "Climb back down. Help me over. I've got an idea."
Okay. I climb back down, and I'm still kind of like moving a little bit with the music, like.
Celes actually ties the one end of the rope. When she gets to the top, she tries to stop and tries tying the rope there, so it'll actually stay on that iron bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you kind of like.
And then she realizes that's silly, and then she unties it. And brings
so in
the
middle
rope.
of trying to like loop it around and trying to form a knot, you're like, no, this is a bad idea, and just like untie it again.
Yep, and then she just grabs the rope and pulls it with her and hops down on the side where Sarren is.
Okay.
And she says, "How do you feel about convincing Quilby and his crowd to start getting a bit rowdy?"
I look at you. I'm like, "Rowdy? What do you mean?"
Says, "Come, I'll show you." And she kind of like is like grabbing you by the cuff of the sleeve or something like that, or the scarf. There you go, one of your scarves. She starts heading towards the front. Luna takes off and lands near the front gate again.
Okay.
And she has a peek around the corner to see what's going on.
Yeah. So as you take a peek around the corner, you don't need to really peek around the corner. There is still currently this mass of people that is just occupying this entire space, and they're a bit dissolving. So they were like, you get the idea, there were probably a bit more people before, but yeah, it's still very packed.
So she says, "Have you heard of what half-orcs call mosh pitting?"
I just look at you weird. I'm like, I just shake my head no.
She says, "It's something that my mother used to try and get me to do all the time, and I just wouldn't have any part of it. But I figure if we can get some of this crowd to act a bit rowdy, they might make it look like the gate, and perhaps some people busted in, and then we'd have an easier time about searching the premises."
I look around and I kneel down and pick up some stones off the ground. I say, "Hold on 1 second."
So yeah, you find like a few small pebbles and maybe like the occasional like a bit bigger pebble. So yeah, you collect a few.
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna use these, and I'm going to just kind of. I'm not gonna use a slingshot this time. I'm just gonna kind of throw them in, and hopefully they think that somebody else threw him and try to get them riled up that way.
Jeez.
Yeah, that definitely hits someone at least.
Just kill somebody.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and you hit someone somewhat central, and they're like immediately scream up and like look around, don't see anything, or not anyone in particular. So they just proceed to hit whoever's like right behind or was right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And a person witnesses that and is like makes gestures as to like what is wrong with this person and proceeds to hit the person originally hit by your pebble. And yeah, slowly but surely there's a couple exchanges of fists.
It's
So to
turning
speak.
into a brawl.
Um,
I just look, I shrug my shoulders. I said, "Is that what you're talking about?"
She says, that will do.
and a couple people are just instinctively like stepping back, and a couple are just trying to get away and push through the crowd, occasionally knocking one or the other person over, who in turn also gets a bit mad. So there's definitely a bit of chaos going on inside of this. So, well, if you probably wait 1 or 2 minutes.
Well, does it look like, they're actually gonna like bust through the front gate, or that might need a little more help?
I guess you've let it a little bit go and observe a bit. It seems like they're pretty much focused against each other. They're
okay.
So they are not making progress to kind of just generally cause havoc.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like they're slowly starting to split into 2 groups that are just try and fight amongst each other and like against the other part, and it's confusing and just a lot of people trying to one-up each other.
So I guess Celes is going to try moving in over here, and she's going to try to goad one group into the other, but she's going to try and make it sound like, Group A is calling Group B a coward, and, they don't think that they're like strong enough or something. They just try and get them to prove something to the other one that involves busting the gate.
I'm gonna go back around the corner.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use my disguise self, and I want to disguise as like some random, like one of the big, like a random person out of the crowd and look like them. And I'm gonna go in.
Mm-hmm.
Stand back at the edge over here and just kind of start, harassing both sides to try to get them closer to the gate.
Sure. So you and both you and Celes try to like push through the crowd and make your way somewhat unharmed. Maybe the occasional scratch here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the front gate.
Yeah, I'll point at Celes and then, like, stand on the other side and, like, it's all y'all's fault over there. Y'all did all this. Look what you.
And immediately, someone turns to you, Sarren, and reaches out, like, pulls back his fist and tries to hit you.
Fuck, break it out.
Does a 13 hit?
It's the same, yeah. It's just hit.
Just hits. Alright, so you take 2 points of damage. 2 points of bludgeoning damage as this seemingly random person just winds up, tries to hits you square into your stomach. And yeah, lets out like a, well, not really a victory roar, but like, and yeah, seems pretty excited, having delivered justice to your previous statement.
I just look over at Celes, and I'm like very angry at this point. Is there anybody close by that I can reach and try to pull them into this gate? Just push them.
Oh yeah, there is definitely
That's
2 or
what I'm
3
gonna
people
do.
immediately to your left, and so yeah, you pick one up and try to throw them into the gate, or what?
I just kind of push them into the gate.
So yeah, give me an athletics check, trying to grapple the closest person to you, and kind of like shove them into the gate.
Ouch.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like that person really paid attention to you. They kind of like turned away from you. So you just grabbed some random person and lift him up and just threw him with your strength against the gate, and the gate kind of like bends a little bit, but it's still like standing strong. And the person kind of like turns around, is like shaking a little bit, just looking a bit dazzled, and tries to in its somewhat like loosely drunken state, tries to reach out and tries to hit you, but like just the arms go wide and almost falls onto his knees or onto his feet, and yeah, doesn't like manage to really reach out and hit you. So yeah, but someone else nearby notices this, and they kind of like push a little bit closer, and you feel like both you and this person are like being pushed against the gate as they're like kind of pushing towards you, and there is another person reaching out to try to hit you.
I just yell out at Celes, "Where are you?"
Celes is at this point going to try helping push against the gate.
Like, this isn't what I signed up for. I don't like the city anymore.
You kind of like were busy with the other person, having just like thrown him into the gate, and as you turn around, there's like one guy just coming straight at you, seemingly like having run for a couple feet, and hits you just square in your face, and you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jeez.
And yeah, but like the kind of like with him just running towards you and like kind of pushing you in your movement back towards the gate, you kind of feel like it gives a little bit more, and yeah, so you're all like kind of leaned and pushed against the gate.
Celes would like to shout, I don't know why we're fighting each other when it's rich people like this that are keeping us down.
Damn the man!
Damn the man! And she starts pushing towards the gate against the other people that are there as well.
All right, so you're kind of like trying to shove the gate open?
Yes, but I'm also trying to, I don't know, encourage the crowd to participate at the same time.
All right, sure. Give me an athletics check, trying to kind of push and move the people on. All right. That like you kind of push and rally up the people to kind of like help you in breaking into this building.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're like kind of all trying to collectively shove each other, seemingly just by body weight, against the door.
Sorry, Sarren.
You can almost see it, like, instead of opening in the middle, you can see it almost like bend over on top, so it just like almost rips out the hinges on both sides of the walls.
So it's a good lock.
And it just bends and bends more, and eventually just breaks open in the center, and you can hear this resounding crack in the iron.
Mm-hmm.
And the doors fly open, and you, as well as Sarren and probably 6 or 7 other people, are just plummeting into the garden, in the front garden, and just lying on top of each other. And a couple more are just shoving you on and kind of like almost fall over you. But yeah.
If I can...
One might think perhaps it was magically locked.
Yeah, well, just not magically doored. If I can, Celes would like to try and grab Sarren and pull her off, like, around the bushes to get around the side of the house, while people are, like, kind of pushing forward, hopefully towards into the house.
This is not good.
Like, get us out of the way of them attacking the house at this point. And then try and show her where we went in the back. That's my objective, but I don't know how far I can get with that.
So it takes you a while trying to find Sarren in this mess, and trying to like pull or guide her out of the people, and trying to pull her off to the side.
She's also going to try and get Luna to get Quilby's attention, and try and lead him around as well if possible. I know, lots of stuff.
I was about to ask Quilby, you see as like out of the corner of your eye, see for a few glimpses that Celes is somewhat nearby. You've seen Luna just fly a bit in the air before. And now suddenly it seems that your previously very calm and chill environment you've created, that was partying along with you, suddenly erupted into a fight. And you're kind of like ducking and moving out of the way, trying to avoid people fighting with each other.
Well, I guess the show is over.
Or has it just begun?
And it seems there was a bigger commotion towards the mansion nearby. And then there was one resounding crack as seemingly the what you can see, the 2 iron gates flew open, and some part of the crowd seemingly cheering at this event. So
I'm going to get the hell out of there. Dark Souls style.
Would Luna be able to try and find him?
Luna can probably try make out where he is. You can give me a perception check trying to find him in this mess of people just fighting back and forth. Yeah. Luna flies up and after a quick glance spots the small goblin in this crowd of people.
She would try to, like, at least this is my interpretation of it. I mean, she's not like, I don't control her, but I would imagine she would probably try and grab his arm and try flying in a direction with it.
So as you're trying to dodge and keep out the way, trying to find a way out of this without getting hurt, you see Luna coming, like flying towards you, and then kind of like pecking on you a little bit and trying to like pull you into a direction. seemingly towards the mansion, I suppose. Or where do you
Yes.
want Luna to
Yes.
pull into? All right. So yeah, kind of get the feel that Luna grabs
Get off me!
your hand and pulls you towards the mansion.
You oversized pigeon.
Yeah, she just pecks a bit around and tries to get your attention again and pulls.
Okay, do I... can I spot Celes in this mess?
You can give me a perception check trying to make out. Like, you only saw him briefly, you only saw her briefly before. Trying to make your way towards the door. Yeah, you kind of look around, and where Luna is pulling you, and you can see Celes just trying to grab someone out of seemingly a pile of people, and there's just more pressing in. Yeah, you get the idea that Celes is in the garden, in the enclosed area in front of the mansion.
Oh, great. Do I have to go in there?
Who are you talking to?
You don't have to.
Okay, seeing that I cannot get rid of Luna, I'm going to just go in the direction of the garden. Trying to get through all the people.
So yeah, it takes a while trying to like dodge through them and slowly just waiting it out until the two people in front of you have just knocked each other out apparently. And one of them kind of like crawling away and then just hopping over the other and trying to make your way into the inner garden. But yeah, eventually you make your way in there, and Celes, you have kind of recovered Sarren from the people going about there. And yeah, the three have made your way into the building.
So yeah,
or into the garden.
I'd drag her around, and hopefully Luna would be leading Quilby around the side as well.
Mm.
I guess not dragging, but leading Sarren around the side of the building, so that we could basically pursue where we were before, where we entered through the back window.
I just follow and I'm like touching my face and stuff where I was. I'm like, I don't know if that worked, but if that's what you were going for, but that's not the kind of party that I like.
She says, "That worked just fine. Thank you. It achieved what I was trying to do. Get everybody together and make it look like the crowd burst in and not just us. Come quickly. We only have so much time before they return, especially with this, well, riot now going on."
Especially now the front gate alarm has gone off. What's that?
That's assuming it's alarmed. I don't know.
I don't know either.
You didn't hear any sound or alarm
Because it's magic.
sound. But yeah. Sarren, it actually looks quite nice in here. Like there's different kinds of bushes, and it seems like the grass hasn't been really well tended to in some corners. So it looks actually quite nice in contrast to the rest of the town that you've been through the last day.
So you got that
Yeah,
going for you.
just look around and I'm like, oh well, I'm just gonna sit on the floor for a minute.
Which I'd imagine that we're just waiting for Quilby to come over as well. Or at least if he came within sight, then Celes would, try and get his attention. And...
Yeah, I try to waddle after Luna.
And Celes would call for you. Over here! Quickly!
Going!
Just say, around the side, come on. And then we'd go all the way down to the back. And to the side window and in. Or to the back window and in. And then she'd say, we've already searched this floor, but there's a basement, and we feel that there may be people inside, so come with me. Giya is waiting at the bottom of the stairs, hopefully.
Top of the stairs.
Top of the stairs. Top of the stairs. Hi, Giya. Look what I found.
Presumably I hear them coming.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of standing like mole at the ready at the door, like just in case it's not them.
What was the last sight I saw of the condition of the people that had come through the front gate? Like, were they rushing the house? Were they just confused and still fighting?
There were a couple that kind of like got up again after they were kind of knocked over from the initial breakthrough, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of them resumed fighting. It seems that 2 or 3 of them kind of like crawled away and tried to find a bit of a safe spot. There weren't any that immediately, like you couldn't see anyone immediately going for the building or trying to like get into the mansion or something.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as you know, they were either busy with themselves or just spread out a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, you all approach the staircase down below to the basement, and yeah, gonna switch everyone over again. And
as we're walking, I'm like, yeah, I threw a rock at somebody, and then everybody got mad at somebody else, and then they got mad at other people, and then I got hit a couple times.
I look at Celes like, what did you do?
She then puts a hand on what she believes to be Sarren's shoulder and says, if it makes you feel any better, they weren't hitting you. They were hitting the illusion that you put up.
I still felt that.
I realized that.
Very much so.
I didn't anticipate that you would actually get stuck in. But you did very well, both of you. Thank you. Now, there is somebody we believe might be down here. There was some hammering we heard. And Celes says, Giya, would you mind leading on?
I say no.
Okay.
And I go through the doors, and curiosity about this sword is kind of like, my curiosity's getting stronger. So I'm gonna kind of take a step forward. I'm looking at it more carefully.
I point. I'm like, is that a sword in the floor?
It is. We've been suspicious of it so far.
I'm gonna walk over and just grab it.
As you kind of get closer, you see on its handle and on the blade itself there are a couple small runes. The ones on the blade, there's like 3 runes on top of each other, and they're all like kind of faintly glowing with like a purplish glow to them. But yeah, there's a sword stuck in the ground in front of you.
I said, don't touch it.
I already
I don't know,
have my
it's
hand
magical.
out touching it.
Nab. Oh, no, I think
Yeah,
the proper
it's,
word is glom.
Yeah, there is a sword stuck in the ground, and you grab on the handle of it, and it feels a little bit cold. But yeah.
What's wrong with it? I can't move it. I'm like wiggling it around. I said, it just feels cold. It's a sword. It's stuck. I don't think it's coming out.
Celes says, "We were afraid it was going to animate and attack us."
Or that it's just a trap of some kind. It's definitely magical.
Oh, it glows. I'm just gonna kick it and be like, okay, well,
Yeah, you kick it and it. Brrr. But
Why is something like this in the middle of the city? Just scratching my head.
I'm like, I heard of stories like this. Hey, see if you can pull it out. You'll become rich.
Got enough responsibility, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna step up and try pulling it out of the floor.
all right, sure.
Now the question is,
I
does
just
the floor
clap.
come out with it?
Yeah, you're gonna try pulling it out.
Yep.
All right, give me a strength check. Oh wow.
Oh
Pretty
shit.
Yeah, get kind of like a really firm grip on it, and you kind of pull, and it gives like a little bit, and then gives a bit more, and it's just like small increments until you suddenly just pull it out completely, and kind of like take a moment, hold it in your hand. It's a very nice long sword. As before mentioned, there's a couple of runes in it, and they're kind of, yeah, glowing with this purple bluish haze.
I clap him like, look, yeah, can you imagine all the lettuce you can buy with
As
all
soon
the
as you
money
start
you're gonna
clapping, I
get from
say,
that sword? And I help
"Shh,
lift.
there's somebody here. Can't make loud noises."
I just kind of ducked my head. I was like, sorry, I forgot. But I loosened that for you.
Thank you.
It feels kind of heavy.
It's heavier than it
uh,
looks.
Celes says, "You best be careful. Magical items. You never know if they might end up charming the bearer or something."
It's true. It's very true.
You don't say.
Swords really aren't my thing, though.
Well, we can always investigate it later. Perhaps this is one of the experiments. But I think we should take it with us for now.
Okay.
We heard the hammering coming from the south, and she points to the this way, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I can't remember if we looked in this room or not.
I don't think we did.
Okay.
I'm standing over by that door, just kind of with my ear against it.
You're trying to listen if someone's in there?
Yes.
Give me a perception check. Trying to be all silent through the commotion of Giya and Celes. I'm trying to hear something.
After
Yeah.
I've been yelling and cheering.
It seems pretty silent across through the door. So doesn't sound like anything or anyone's in there.
It smells like there are no apples in there.
I'm gonna push the door open, or try to see if the door is unlocked and push it open if it is.
Oh, this room is lit, by the way, right? With the torch over by me.
Yeah, there is a torch on this wall, and that pretty much illuminates a large part of the room. Like a little bit of a dark corner over here, a little bit one over here, but it seems to be just lighting almost everything. Yeah, you try the handle, and the door slides open, and yeah, you can enter into the left from here.
I must go in the door and look.
There is another torch to your left, illuminating seemingly this room. Yeah, it's a pretty small room, and it's pretty packed with a lot of crates. There's just a couple of crates just stacked on top of each other, and yeah.
I look out of the door and say, "There's nothing but crates in here, just storage." But I don't know if there's books, so
Well, we're still trying to find those weapons crates that were smuggled in. Do they have the markings on them?
I don't know. I'll get a closer look at them. So I'll go in and kind of start rummaging.
Do you kind of like try and look around on the crates if they've like the markings that Giya previously
Yeah,
made?
I'll start scooting them around and lifting and what.
From the few that, like, from the ones you checked in the room here, none of them seem to have any sign of the marking that Giya previously made.
Okay. I guess I'll walk back out into the main room and tell them no.
Any idea what was in them? Are they open?
Yeah. Peek my head out and say, "No, there's nothing on the crates. Can I open one? Like, I'll just open like the closest one."
So you kind of get close to it, try to open the lid, kind of push it open, and it seems to be filled with cloth. Just a couple white or slightly green or pink pieces of fabric and cloth, kind of like rolled up, and yeah.
Okay, and I'll open one more before I leave.
All right. Yeah, gonna lift this one open, and it seems to be filled with a couple of sheets of metal. Just like seemingly a bit of iron, and yeah. That content seems awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll walk back out and I'm like, "No, these are just genuine. They look like genuine, just regular crates. There's cloth and iron, basic people stuff."
I kind of frown a little and say, "Well, that's what was in the crates at the dock, right?"
So
Did they have?
Yes.
Maybe these were like previous shipments, and Giya's gonna kind of go in, head in there, and she's gonna check the crates for false bottoms.
They're just gonna take one crate after another and trying to find if they have a false bottom to them.
Yeah. Well, wait. How many crates are in here again?
A couple of, like, at least probably like 10.
Okay, so probably not every crate. Like if I get to 3 and none of them have, then I might start being a bit more selective.
I left the 2 lids off the ones that I opened, in case you want to start there.
Okay.
1 second. Quilby, you make your way into the hallway. Like, you kind of push the door open and make your way down a bit. And through the hallway, you can hear like faint noises of someone hammering against wood. And then a bit of a pause. Then something being seemingly just thrown, or something smashing against a wooden table. And then a couple more noises of someone hammering against wood. And there's
I immediately I'm going to go and hide behind the crate.
Yeah, there's a crate there, and yeah, kind of like hide behind it. There's immediately a door to your right, and yeah. So Giya, you kind of like rummage through a couple of crates. As you spend a little bit of time in this room, you kind of notice that the torch, even though it's like burning, it doesn't give off any like smoke. So it seems to just burn, but there's like no ash or smoke or anything.
Okay.
And yeah, you kind of rummage through a few more, but you like as you're going through the third one, and you didn't yet find one with a false bottom.
Okay. I'm gonna take the torch out of the wall. Like, well,
Okay.
off the hold. I assume it's on like some kind of holder or something.
Yeah, it's fitted on a holder, and you kind of like pick it up, and yeah, you have a torch in your hand.
Okay. Does it look like it's like regular fire?
You kind of like hold it in your hand and look around it a bit.
Yeah, I might like put my hand over it, see if it gives off heat.
It looks like a real flame or a real fire. You kind of like hold your hand over it and a bit into it. It's not warm.
Okay, I'm gonna like do that thing, like pass my hand through the flame.
Yep, and you kind of like pass through it. There is like a little bit of resistance, so you kind of like feel like there is something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like your hand doesn't burn, or you don't get like burnt. So
Celes has just been watching over people's shoulders from the doorway this whole time to see what was found.
I'm gonna take some of the cloth in the crate, and for a second, for like just really quick, I'm gonna cover the torch with the cloth and then take the cloth back off again.
So kind of roll a piece of it off one of the cloth rolls and put it over the torch.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see like a little bit of faint light just shining through. And then you like pull the torch from underneath the cloth, and the cloth is in one piece. And it doesn't look burnt.
This torch is coming with me.
Celes just kind of frowns and says, "Come on."
I say, it's easy for you people who can see in the dark. This is gonna be so useful.
And Celes is just walking around.
Stupid bottles of oil. They always leak. You know that. My bag always covered in oil.
Excuse me. He says, "Where did Quilby get to?"
I don't know. I've been in here.
You now have both one weirdly rune glowing sword, long sword, and a torch that doesn't want to burn things.
A torch of unburning. It's almost like a candle of unlighting.
The not burning. Oh god, the candles of unlighting.
Alright, I'll exit the room again and say, I don't think those are the crates.
He says, "Come
But
on.
this torch is awesome.
I think the others have gone ahead of us. We need to catch up."
Okay.
Or, I
Go
think
then.
Quilby has gone ahead of us. We need to catch up to him before he gets into too much trouble. Without us.
No, he's getting trouble without us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll follow behind you.
Okay.
Yeah. As you kind of like, so you're gonna go into the next hallway down south.
We intend to. I just wasn't sure if Quilby had more time before we do.
I mean, unless you want to do something, Quilby. So far, you're
I
ducking
would like
behind the
to.
crate.
Yeah, while hiding behind the crate, I would like to locate the direction where the sound is coming from.
Where the sound is coming from. After spending a bit of time here and listening in, you kind of get the idea it's coming from somewhere in this direction.
I would.
You can make a
Quiet.
perception check, trying to like sit around behind the crate and listening in for a while they're doing their stuff. Yeah, you can make out that the sounds are coming through this door.
Okay, I'm going a little bit closer, very cautiously.
Okay. As you're trying to like sneak up to the door and get an idea of what's going on, you can hear footsteps behind you, and as you kind of like glance around, you see Celes, and behind her, Sarren peek through and get into the hallway.
I'm just gonna go and going to point at the door.
Celes just nods and, as quietly as she can, moves a bit further so that the rest can move into the hallway.
Oh, there you are. Those are solid doors. There aren't any cracks, holes.
So the entire hallway is just solid stone, and these doors are wooden doors. They seem like if it's the same that was from the hallway you just entered into, like that door, they are pretty solid. They're pretty thick, and yeah, seem like pretty solid doors.
Solid like a door.
Not even space between door and wall or floor or ceiling.
I mean, you can like
Keyhole,
kind of
maybe.
like hop around and try to find glance and try to find something. So yeah, Celes and Sarren, you watch as Quilby kind of like kneels down to the floor and tries to look seemingly through the crack on the bottom of the door, and then gets to the opposite side, trying to look through seemingly a slit or something in the door, and then gets back to the other side of the door, trying to see if they can get a glance into the room. But Quilby, you don't really see anything. Doesn't seem to be a bit big enough space to get a glance into the room.
So you're just kind of trying to get a look. Celes is just waiting.
I'm gonna open the door next to me. We'll go in.
So you kind of like silently try the handle and just go in.
Yeah. If it's unlocked, I'll go in.
Yeah. You kind of like slide the handle and just gently push against the door, and it slides open inwards. And yeah,
Giya
it reveals a pretty small room. There's a torch to your left, and yeah, there are a couple more crates stacked
Giya
on top
kind
of
of
each
like
other.
looks at the other two that are in the hallway, shrugs, and waves, and goes in as well.
Celes just kind of goes, but she stays there with Quilby,
Big tall hand.
thinking he may end up opening the door at some point, and she doesn't want to leave him by himself.
I was at Giya. I was like, I don't know what he's doing. It's just a door. So I start pushing. I start trying to open some of these crates.
I swear they are going to make any noise.
You're trying to be silent when opening the crates, or
I don't think there's a way to be silent opening wooden crates. To be honest. I mean,
Giya's eyes get kind of big. Like,
I mean, you can try.
yeah, I'll try. You made a roll a stealth?
I suppose, yeah.
I'm just like, crate open.
Yeah, you kind of like push open the lid and have to kind of like halfway just forcefully try to push it open, and it does make quite a bit of noise. And but the crate opens, and it seems to be that quite a lot of bread is stored in there, just loaves of bread.
Mhm.
I hold one up to Giya. I'm like, look, food.
Jesus, you guys.
Nice. Giya says, takes the whole loaf.
Like, I just put some in my pack.
And Quilby, as you kind of like still try to be silent and listen in, the hammering across the door or any other noise just stops.
Did we hear the crate being
Yeah.
opened?
I would guess you hear the crate being opened, at least. Yeah.
Um,
I'm just like, Giya, if there's
Quick-
bread in this one.
quick
what do you
question.
think? No.
what way
I mean,
does
it's
this
worth
door
finding out.
open? Does it open like this, or like
The door
this?
between you, it opens into the hallway.
So
window.
like that?
Yeah.
Swings open like this?
So the hinge is on the right.
Crap.
Oh my god, this is like
This is what I'm trying to find out.
These details. And is it a brass
details.
door handle?
considering how you
or-
guys entered. Considering how you guys entered this before with your tokens, I would say the hinges are on the right,
Okay.
because you always like entered on the left.
Okay.
Side
Is
first.
it oak or pine?
This is really important.
So I guess this is going to be awkward, but quickly, Celes will come over here and she'll pull the door to basically block her in the corner, sucking herself in, and she'll kind of motion for Quilby to get back here with her or in the other room. And she's trying to like pull the door to her right now so that if someone were
It's
to
like-
come
So it's
in
like
here.
fully open and like a bit more, so you're kind of like stuck in this weird dark spot corner.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to hide behind the door.
Okay. And Quilby, what are you gonna do?
Mm. I'm going to use a silent image and make myself hiding spot within illusionary crate.
Oh, so you transform yourself into a crate.
Nice.
It's an extra crate in the hole.
So you're trying to transform yourself into a crate using silent image?
It's crate illusion.
Yeah.
It is not. I'm not transferring myself.
It's like
Okay,
prop hunt.
okay.
I'm just making myself a hiding spot on.
You're going solid snake.
Nice. So yeah, I will need. Are you gonna close the door on the other room, or are you gonna leave it open?
The room that we're in? You mean?
Yeah.
Which way does the door open?
Oh my god!
Celes would try closing the door, however it was arranged.
Yeah, if it opens. Well, actually,
opens
it doesn't
into
matter.
the
I would
room.
close it. As soon
Okay.
as the crate starts being noisy, actually, that's probably when I would close it. Like, oh god, that's noisy. Like, and close the door.
Think.
Give me a second.
Ooh.
All right. I will need a stealth check from Celes, trying to hide behind the door.
Before I do, I need to look up chainmail. Because I think I have disadvantage on stealth checks.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. Chainmail, disadvantage on stealth. Yep. Okay. I was built for this. Hold on a second, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, and I need to do disadvantage, stealth. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
She is one sly lady.
You win this time.
But not the next one.
So yeah, a couple of seconds go by. Quilby like kind of illusory transforms into a crate next to the other crate. The door is closed, and you kind of like hide behind the door, just pulling the door close to you, trying to like hope no one sees you. And so a couple of seconds pass, and someone, like, you can hear someone stepping out of the room from where you heard the hammering before. Give me a second. And so they kind of like step out of the room, and can hear footsteps. They kind of like turn around the corner and see this like light blue crate to the left. And no, just like turn to the corner to the right, and kind of give a glance to the two crates to the left, and kind of shout something in. Does any one of you speak Elven?
I do not.
Yes,
You speak Elven?
but I'm not in the room. I do.
He shouted it just outside the door.
Yeah, you can like, you can understand and hear it. Everyone else can just hear Elven gibberish. I don't know how Elven sounds, so pardon.
Elf.
I remember this.
And so the person shouts out, "Mara, you here?" And
I'm kind of like elbowing Sarren.
kind of proceeds to no, I moved this. And proceeds to step out into the room.
Ooh, sorry.
Into the bigger hallway.
Okay. I'm listening for the steps to proceed further into the room.
No, they kind of stopped. So they went into the room a bit and then stopped. And it takes a moment. And they return. And kind of make their way towards the door that now Giya and Sarren are in.
I'm like mid-munch. Got this big old loaf of
Do I hear him close to like right outside our door?
Yeah, you heard footsteps go by, and then you kind of like heard footsteps come back and approach the door. And
I'll point at the door at Giya, and I'll do like a pushing, like to hold the door, and I'll kind of try to walk over there and lean my back against it.
Okay. Yep, I will help. Hold the door shut. Hold the door.
Oh no.
Hold the door.
door.
Hold the door.
Oh door.
Oh door.
And you kind of like hear the handle a bit, and you just the ever so slight attempt to kind of like push it open, and doesn't seem to go on further than that. And
I see a deer
yeah,
head poke
and-
through the wall. Sorry. It's just funny.
And yeah, the person seems to just move on and seems to curse under his breath and moves down the hallway through the door.
Yeah, I just let out a breath, and then I just take a bite of, like, I just reach in the crate and take a bite of bread.
Yeah, I'm going for
Okay,
another
yeah,
bite,
shake
and
it.
then I like hold my hand up for like high five with Sarren. Just continue munching on the bread.
I high five back. I'm like, yeah. It's like, should we try to open the rest of these, or should we just leave them alone for now?
I say, well, if they don't have the mark on them, maybe we should leave them alone. And I'm gonna study the crates in here to see if they have my scratch on them.
But more bread.
I mean, how much bread can you eat in one go? I mean, I guess a fair bit if you're total, but I've got one loaf, I'm working on it. I might come back for more later.
Jesus.
There's only there's one crate in the front that you already breaded open, and there's a couple more stacked on the back side of the room. So you're just gonna go through the few you see there, and none of them have the marking on it.
I don't think these are the ones we're looking for.
Okay, so, well, I'm gonna pull the door open very slowly and kind of peek my head out.
You probably
I
would
grab one more loaf of bread, put it in my pouch for the road.
Yeah, I'll grab another loaf and have it in my hand and, like, holding it up, looking out the door.
Has the hammering resumed?
And as you know, the person went out of this room and checked a bunch of stuff, and then went down through this door.
Oh. And that door is closed now?
He closed it behind him, so
Okay.
he didn't really hear a whole lot after that.
Okay.
Are you trying to stay behind the door?
Well, it depends. If I hear Sarren coming out the other door, I guess. If I do hear them, then I will try and get her attention without making any noise that I can.
Wait, are you hiding like right here?
I am.
I mean, I don't feel like you could avoid like seeing that we're coming out of that door.
Well, I don't know if this door opens that way.
It opens inwards.
Oh, it opens inwards.
Yep, that's how we were able to brace it.
Okay. All right. Well, she would try and get Sarren's attention and say, "He went through the end door. He came out the side door." And she's pointing when she does it. And she's like, "This time."
After you have inspected the crates and then kind of went out the door again, the door on the bottom side of the hallway opens. And the figure that has previously scanned the hallway
Total just leans back.
enters back into the hallway. And you can see following behind him is very similarly dressed elven man. And one of them, like the one first looked kind of annoyed stepping into the hallway, then his eyes went wide.
I
And
understand they're holding a loaf of bread and chewing on some. Oh, hey. This is some good bread. Want some?
and you understand him, Sarren. He shouts, "Intruder!"
I say, no, bread. I'm just like yelling bread.
And the one in the front immediately unsheaths a small dagger, and the one behind him, just stepping through the hallway, seemingly follows suit. I will need everyone to roll initiative.
Crap.
And yeah. Oh, he is already in there. No.
Oh, come on. Could you assign my initiative to my token?
Oh yeah, give me a second. All right.
Because for some reason I haven't might open.
You've assigned it to the crate.
Perhaps.
Yeah, move this crate away.
And the crate has a great initiative.
Where were we? Oh, 20. Nice. There, you can have it back again. So everyone in the turn order?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice. All right. The two people stepping into the hallway, Quilby, you currently are still trying to keep yourself a bit disguised, but notice that the immediate unrest of some shouting going on, as well as Sarren having stepped out and Celes kind of having the door a little bit opened. Yeah, what do you want to do? You haven't seen them yet, but you have clearly heard that something's going on.
Uh-huh. What I could do?
I mean, they haven't noticed you yet. They're still probably a smaller crate behind a larger crate.
There are exclamation marks above their head, though. They've spotted something.
There was previously like a yellow question mark going around.
Yep.
And immediately turned into a red exclamation.
Yeah.
Do you wish to do?
Yeah, what I wish to do? There's not much I can do.
I mean, you can also choose to just try and crate it up a little more.
I could feel I could feel all hallway all the way up with the crates. That would be something. On the other hand, I don't know.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna.
You could just hold your action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will hold my action.
Until?
Until I'll hear the sounds of combat.
Oh, until somebody walks by and then you just slice their, like, ankles. I don't know.
What makes you think of these things? Jeez.
I guess until more stuff is going on. Sure. Sarren, you walked into two people with half a bread in your mouth.
Trying to say friend, but it's coming out as moo.
Yes.
And
I'm going to cast Ice Knife at them.
At which one?
At That first one there in the corner here.
Oh shit.
All right. That needs a dex save.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast it at level 1.
+4, he makes it. And does it still hit? No, it doesn't, right?
No.
Yeah, it's one of the few that if
You
if
still
they
need
make
to. You still need to attack.
I'll
Like
take
you make a
that one.
ranged spell attack and then do the dex save.
I don't know how it fixed to do that.
Yeah, sure. Make a ranged spell attack on a target. La, 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 la.
right, because there's 2 effects that happen.
A 13 just hits. So yeah, he will take 8 piercing damage, but none of each creature within 5 feet. So this includes the other guy.
Mhm.
So he also has to do a dex save,
Yeah, they both.
and yeah, he also passes. So the person to the right takes 8 points of piercing damage.
And
Yeah.
that's probably gonna be it. Yep, that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna use my bonus.
All right.
Actually, can I use my movement?
You-
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
back
can still move.
up against the back door. And that's it.
All right, sure. So you kind of chuck the shard of ice towards him. Takes the hit. Unfortunately, all the ice splinters from the explosion just jump into different directions. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the owl's turn.
She's upstairs currently, so she's just doing her thing. It's just in case I end up summoning her. She gets her own initiative, so.
In the distance. Giya, heard a lot of commotion going on.
I stick my head out the door.
You kind of stick your head out the door. Sarren is currently just ushering away from them, and they both seem to just have try to avoid some little bit of ice. There's still a couple of few small ice shard pieces lying around, and yeah, you can see both of them down the hallway.
Okay. I'm gonna head in. So wait, they are armed, right? They have weapons.
Yeah.
What kind of weapons do they have?
They both have small daggers, and it seems that they have more on their belt.
Okay. Then I'm gonna move to here.
All right. Storm up in front of him.
And I say, you don't want to do this. And then I'm gonna hit this one with my maul.
All right. All right.
And I miss.
That unfortunately misses.
Alright,
So
that's what I got.
So you're kind of intimidating, standing in front of them, saying, "You don't want to do this," and swing wide, and he seems to just duck out the way.
I say the next one's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I'm like,
And,
that was a warning swing.
That was supposed to not hit you.
Grace period.
You stupid immunity frames.
All right. Gonna move anywhere else? Or just
Nope.
staying?
I'm planting my feet. I'm staying right there.
All right. it's the elf's turn. The one you just tried to hit reaches up with this like very kind of like short, small dagger, and tries to slice up in front of you. And that would be a... I can't type apparently. Yeah, that I don't think that hits.
It does not.
All right, and just kind of like swings wide. You kind of step. You kind of take one step back, and he just wildly flings his dagger aside.
Okay.
And the second one also tries to stab you with his dagger.
That hits.
I presume that hits.
Yep.
And you take 4 points of slashing damage. And I will need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
How rude. Okay, con. Nope. Everything's going so well.
As he slashes across your front with the dagger, you kind of like feel the wound just pulsing and something just coursing through you, where like originating where the wound is, and yeah, you kind of like feel something just taking root, and yeah. So we will get back to that.
Great.
Celes.
Bonus action, she summons her glaive to her hands.
All right.
And seeing them stab and hurt Giya, she instantly like just reacts, charges, and attacks. She has a reach weapon, so she's going to attack this guy.
Pokey poke.
And she's going to glaive attack. Eventually, there it is. She misses. Cramped quarters.
They are pretty nimble. They didn't manage, like, this guy didn't manage to hit Giya, but he seems to just be very, very nimble and jump out of the way.
Okay.
I unfortunately, like, do you want to do anything else?
I did a bonus action and an action.
Yeah.
The best I've got is and I moved, so maybe I've got a reaction later.
So Quilby, you could still, like, I kind of robbed you of your held action a bit. So
I'm going to cast Fair Fire.
That's a big area.
yeah, for a really small hallway, that's a pretty big area.
So you realise you just gave them advantage against us, right?
Maybe. We'll all see it.
Only if you fail the save.
Oh, jeez. A dexterity saving throw? Jesus. I'll tell you right now, if there's something I'm not good at, it's dexterity. But here we go.
Oh, so you need to make a dex save.
See? I am not good with dexterity.
The DC for the save is
13.
Oh, Giya makes it.
so the guy to the right also the guy to the right
I
makes
think
it,
we're fighting a
Everyone's
couple of
gonna be
rogues.
affected.
and the one to the left doesn't make it. So
Alright, so I'm now glowing.
glow.
Excuse me. What color are we? Because you get to choose a color.
Oh, so you took that kind of icon. Oh, there's more icons.
Yellow.
Yellow. Okay.
Booted the thing in my desk.
All right. So the crate just cast Verify.
Well, Fairy Fire's concentration, so I think he has to drop the crate illusion.
Right. So
Yeah, pretty much.
I create.
I'm gonna claim that was my held action. So on my action on this turn, I'm gonna jump out onto this crate.
Okay.
Gonna pull out the one of the Luna's feathers that I got. I'm gonna cast hideous laughter at the guy on the left in front of me.
All right. You just laughed or vicious mockery?
Laughter. I don't know why I clicked.
Wisdom save against.
Yeah, the DC will be 13. Spell save DC for me. Oh, come on, no.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm just standing on the crate, waving in the feather. In the wave of my finger, I feel, oh, shit.
Yeah, you kind of like see as he like grins a bit, but then it doesn't seem to take effect. And he really notices you now standing on the crate and having attempted to cast something on him. So yeah. You want to dash off the crate again, or you gonna remain on there?
I think I'll remain on the crate.
All right, sure.
Because I have the higher ground.
Probably just puts you at the same level.
Okay, Sarren.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna move back up between these guys here. And I guess I'm going to do the eye shards again.
Oh shit.
All right.
Damn it, no.
That just goes wide and shatters against the side of the wall. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, that's it.
So you're gonna remain there?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand right here.
Okay. All right. Luna is still flying about.
She's still outside. I haven't summoned her.
Yep.
Doesn't take me an action to do it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. At the start of your turn, you take 2 points of poison damage.
Okay. Ow.
And
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah, and as you kind of like feel the poison now really coursing through you and taking root, you kind of feel like a little bit down and not as strong as you were just a second ago. You have disadvantage on ability checks.
I kind of like look at this guy and say, that burns! And I'm going to try smacking him with my maul.
You have advantage. That definitely hits. And he is smashed against the side of the wall by your heavy maul. And kind of like takes the hit and yeah.
Maud.
Just mauled against the side. All right.
So he's still standing, but
He
injured?
is still standing.
Okay.
Taken you certainly kicked the breath out of him with this attack. And he seems like really hurt on the side. So he like drips a little bit of blood. But yeah, he's just shrugging it off and tries to focus on you again.
Okay, I kind of growl at him.
All right. It's their turn again. So the one to the right, it's gonna attack you right in front of him, and
By the way, that guy gets to make another wisdom saving throw. Oh no, wait, that's hideous laughter. My bad.
Yeah, that didn't. Yeah, that didn't do.
I was reading the wrong one. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. All right. So the one in front of you tries to move about for another slash with the dagger, and it doesn't seem to be his day, not having spotted you initially as well. And the dagger swing just goes wide.
I think I'm just gonna sit on him next turn.
And the one to the left, you kind of like smashed him against the wall, and he kind of bounces back and stabs you with his dagger. And
Stop that.
stop that, please. And you take 4 points of slashing damage, and I will need you to make another con save.
It's better than last time.
And you feel like as he draws another wound on you, you kind of feel this cursing pain that you felt from the wound previously, where you kind of like muscle up and work against it. And it doesn't. You feel like it didn't have as big of an effect as the other wound had.
Okay.
Oops, sorry about that.
All right. Celes.
Celes tries attacking the guy that's glowing, seeing as how she's got a better line of sight to attack him, and he's glowing. So
Lots of glow.
lots of glow. So
Yep.
she's going to try and
Go at it.
deglow him. Oh, wait, it's an advantage. So
It's an advantage.
Eh.
Yep.
Oh.
That hits.
Okie doke. Wow,
Nice.
that was a good roll.
Oh. So yeah, with your reach weapon from the side of Giya, as he like goes forth trying to stabbing Giya, you kind of like just take your glaive and slash right back at him,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of like carve into his like between his shoulder and his head, and it really sinks in. And you feel like, yeah, you got a really nice hit there. And he kind of like rears back in pain, holding his shoulder with his other hand. And that was real nice.
There will be unforeseen consequences.
And and you can clearly see now blood just dripping out of the wound. And he's kind of like a little bit on his knees and kind of like breathing heavily. So that did quite a number on him. Quilby. You just saw Celes hack into the one glowing a bit yellow in front of you.
I would like to try once more. Hideous laughter.
All right, sure.
On the guy that's on the second guy.
And the one to the left or to the right?
To the right.
All right. He fails spectacularly, and not having hit Giya for the second time, he just glances over and out of the corner of the eye just sees you on the crate, kind of like.
If I wave my finger and flick of my wrist.
And he just kind of like stares at you for a second, and just looks at Giya, and just like looks at his dagger. It just falls into laughter, like how he couldn't, like he tried so often, it just never got a hit in, and it's just the worst for him, and he just can't do anything else but laugh. and just drops to the floor in front of you, Giya, and just bursts into laughter.
Okay.
And yeah, don't know which icon I should take for this.
There's one of them like bending down with arrows in their back or something.
Yeah, but this is arrowed.
That's usually what I end up using for prone so far. I haven't really found much
Alright.
else.
But this guy is no arrow to the ground,
Yeah.
apparently. Um,
There's
Well,
also
there's back
this
pain.
one.
Yeah.
there's
Back
pain.
pain.
Yeah.
Oh,
I need an
Big
appointment with my
back pain.
chiropractor. Token.
I could just have he's
Um,
laughing.
Yeah. All right. So this guy is lying on the floor laughing, while the other one next to him is bleeding heavily. Okay. Gonna remain up there, Quilby?
Yep.
Right. Sarren.
I'm going to do a healing word. Yeah, I'm gonna do healing word on Giya.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, it's 6, but you know, hey.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Behave.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I think that's all I'm gonna do for now. To kind of hang back.
Okay. And Luna is still going about.
Mhm.
Giya, you take, on the start of your turn, 2 points of poison damage.
Oh, she's still poisoned?
So rude. Right.
And you can still feel this just draining effect on you.
Okay. I kind of set my jaw, getting really frustrated. This guy's still standing, and give him one more regular swing with the maul.
All right.
Oh.
Yep, that definitely hits.
Okay.
All right. And where you saw like previously, Celes kind of hack into his shoulder, you feel like, yeah, that's a really good place. And as he's still trying to recover, you just hammer your maul into the same shoulder, and you just squish him to the floor. And yeah, you kind of like carve your maul into where previously the glaive kind of hit into, just with more force. And yeah, you kind of like squish him against the floor. And
Okay.
the person to the right seems to find this hilariously funny. Yeah. What a squish.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
And I don't know how this order got changed. Before the other guys were also going before you, Celes, so I will just keep on making
Yeah,
them
that
go
is
first.
weird.
Unless you wanted to do something else, Giya?
Nope. I'm just kind of like standing with my maul over the laughing guy.
Right. The guy to the right is prone and incapacitated, and he gets to make another wisdom saving throw, I think, on the end of his turn.
Yep.
Yeah, and at the end of each turn, or each time it takes
Oh, wow.
damage.
Didn't take damage, but I think 13 was the DC. If I remember correctly.
Yep.
So what was it again? If it's on the DC, does it save? I think it does.
It does.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
match.
Just seeing his friend or the other person being squished to the floor, he realizes this probably wasn't so funny, and kind of like shakes it off. And but this was his turn. So, Celes, still glowing a bit yellow.
Yep. Her and the corpse on the ground. She does a reach attack on the guy in front of Giya.
All right.
And hold on a second, gotta open that up again.
That just barely misses. Oh wait, he's prone. So you get advantage.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Do you still get advantage with the reach weapon?
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that will hit him.
Smash.
Smash.
I rolled a 1 for the first one and a 10 on a d10 for the second. Nice.
Oh, nice. Doesn't any of these things get doubled?
It doubles the dice, not the bonus.
Yeah, shouldn't like the 1 get doubled at least?
It rolls a second die for crits. So if you roll a crit, you roll a second die. You don't double the first die anymore.
So yeah. So while the guy just recovered from his laughter, he's greeted with an axe to his stomach, or glaive to his stomach, and you just cut him clean on the stomach, so he's really badly bleeding and just barely grasping for air.
Hold on a second. I'm a half orc.
Right, it's savage attack. So instead of cutting through him, so instead of cutting on him, you cut through him. Like just from one side of his lungs, just square through his stomach all the way on to the bottom of his hips, and it's just blood spraying out and blood and gore just covering the side of Giya. And
I was just trying to go for the dagger.
That really did quite the number there.
Yeah, talking about overkill.
I could have Voltroned him if you really wanted.
Yeah. That was pretty bad news for them. So the previous silence, interrupted by the combat, now returns to silence. You're kind of like all catching your breath and listen about for any other people that want to take you on. Seems pretty silent again.
Oh, great. This is bad.
Celes says, that was likely the only 2 that were down here. And she proceeds to... Is she right next to a door? I can't tell. Yeah. She proceeds to try and open the door that's just to the right. She looks very disappointed right now.
Yeah, there is a door to your right. And so there's this door here that previously the guy came out of, went his turns, and seemingly got someone else from down below.
Okay.
So you step into the room, you can kind of like see to your right, there's one larger crate that is open. It seems to have a lot of wood planks in it. Then you can see 2 smaller crates further into the room, as well as one large table on the back side of the room, where it looks like where it kind of looks like he was building a crate, like kind of like hammering several pieces together, and yeah.
She sets the glaive down on the ground and proceeds to just start opening the crates and looking through them while she's in here.
So yeah, the one immediately to the right was filled with wooden planks, and the two smaller ones, they're still slightly ajar. They both seem empty.
Okay.
Is this door open?
The two previously went through that door, and it didn't seem like they locked it behind them. So
Okay.
it might still be open.
Okay, but it's not like actually open.
No, it's not actually open. They
Okay.
like closed it behind them.
Okay. I'm gonna
So,
check.
Before Giya runs off, I run over. I'm like, "Are you okay?" I just to check, see how injured she is.
See, that hurt a little bit.
By the way, the searing pain that was coursing through you kind of subsided.
Okay. I'm kind of like I've got like my hand over the dagger wound that was poisoned, and I kind of peel my hand back and look at the wound, and it's like that one burned a lot.
I pat her shell, and I will just hold out a handful of herbs that I have. I'm like, "Here, eat these," and I'll cast cure.
Okay. I like munch, just munch away.
There you go.
Ooh,
Have 11 points.
thank you. I'm back up to max again. Boop.
I say, does it matter if I tell you these guys they were speaking? I mean, anybody else?
Were they elves, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really look that close to them yet.
Okay. All right.
Celes calls to Quilby.
So
Quilby, could you come here a moment?
No.
I'm just gonna remain silent.
And she just turns to face him, glowing visage above him. And she just kind of looks patiently upon him. Glowing. Glowing. Glowing.
Yeah, right. Do you realize that this is very bad?
She says, "What? That we chased some looters down into the basement?" No.
Know that we are committed murder?
She says, "Well, currently, they're breakers of the law. I believe it's punishable by death for smuggling illegal weaponry into the city. But currently, we had reason to come in here chasing looters." She says, "That's what we're looking for now. Let's hope that we find it." Is she still glowing?
It kind of wears off by now.
Then she just drops it and continues on searching through crates and everything in the room, and then until she's satisfied, and then moves to the next.
Okay, I'm going through this door.
All right. The door slides open, and you have, looking to your right, you see a stack of crates. To your left, you see a stack of crates. There's like a small hallway going between them, and there is a couple more stacked on to the back side of the wall.
That's a lot of crates. Okay. Do any of them look like... I'm gonna start searching for ones with marks on them.
Give me an investigation check.
Oh, okay. I'm terrible at this. Yep.
Going through the crates, you don't find any immediately. You can also just spend a couple more minutes going through them.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
And actually, even if I don't find ones with marks on them, I will be looking for like ones with false bottoms.
Do you gonna open them and go through their contents?
I'm going to begin doing that, yes. I know it's going to take a while, so...
So, yeah. Okay. So what's the rest up to?
Once I'm done with the room I'm in, I would like to join Giya in hers.
Okay. Kind of like stepping over the little bit of gore in the hallway.
I will actually check them over to see if they have any keys, papers, things that might allude to illegal weaponry smuggling.
Do you kind of like look through their pouches and stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, also give me an investigation check. Trying to see what you can gather from their bodies.
Not much.
Okay, so
She's
it takes
more-
you a while.
She's rather upset that they're, they just opted to just straight up fight and try and kill people, and we ended up killing them, but...
It is a bit
We are trespassing. What did you expect?
There's no laws for killing people for trespassing.
It's a bit bloody. But you happen to find a purse. And you kind of like open it a little bit. There's a couple of gold pieces in there. Totaling about 40 gold pieces. You can find them, both of them sheath. God. Each of them 2 more daggers, and one of each of them holding 1 dagger. On the other person, you can find a small little vial with some kind of like greenish liquid in it. And yeah. Taking a little bit longer, that seems to be what you can find.
Celes takes the vials of the green liquid. And
Taste it.
No.
You only find one. You only find one.
Okay, the vial of green liquid. And then that's all she does for that, but she proceeds to move into the room and help searching through the crates.
Okay. I would assume you eventually join them as well, Quilby. You take your time, each just looking a bit through crates. You find another crate that seems to be filled with just large cheese blocks, like just large round cheese. And it doesn't seem like it's been there for long yet, so might still be okay.
Giya's taking a block of cheese. To go with the bread, she says.
As for like the larger crates, it doesn't seem like most of them have anything particularly out of the ordinary contained in them. You kind of like get to the a bit longer, smaller crates on the back side. Kind of open it. Going through it, it seems to be a lot of paperwork dealing with, and they're all pretty much in the same layout. Seems to be documents about some things being shipped, like some delivery being made, some order being made, a couple dates on them when the order was made, and when something arrived. And yeah, seems to be what you can immediately gather from the crates and contents of the room.
Is there... Ooh. So I'm going to kind of sit down with these papers and see if I see... I'm going to start kind of going through them, see if I see anything with today's date. Oh, wait, was that today? This is the same day, isn't it?
We've been watching them. It's I think in the evening at this point, because we had been on the docks all day.
It was pushing in the evening, kind of like middle evening, when people were like kind of partying and you went into the mansion. So you're probably pushing well into, like, having this encounter, bring everyone back in here. I would say you're probably pushing into the early night to night portion of the day. Night,
Okay.
day, night-ish.
Alright. I'm just gonna
So
see
it
if
might still be the same day.
Okay. Let's see if I can find anything with... I'm looking for documentation of the shady shipment that we saw today.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
Oh,
Trying to,
shit.
like, go through all the papers, trying to...
I'm terrible at this, guys. Terrible. Come on.
I
Come on,
can.
roll
Can
20.
I help? I mean,
No, you can sit down together with Giya, kind of like sorting the papers by date and so on.
Yep. I would like to help.
Yep.
Can't Sarren just translate this? Because it's probably in Elven? Elvish?
This paperwork seems to be mostly in common.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, you kind of like go through the paperwork, and most of it is just dealing with general shipments of things.
Okay.
Nothing that seems very out of the ordinary. Eventually, you come across one paper that has a lot of cheese mentioned on it, and it was from 2 days ago. So that might be relevant.
Alright. Does it look like the box that I just nabbed the cheese from? Like, is there any kind of like corresponding crate number or anything like that? Or
glancing over it, there seems to be like one marking on the one edge of the crate that you previously didn't really recognize. It was just like some numbers.
okay.
Yeah, that seems to be corresponding with a number you find on this paper.
Okay. I'm gonna empty the cheese out of the crate.
That is going to be a lot of cheese.
I'm not taking it all with me.
There's a lot of crates.
Okay, so you just begin to load off cheese from the crate?
Mm-hmm.
The cheese rolls down by my feet. I just kind of reach down and dig my hand into it, and just take a chunk and start eating it.
How is it?
Tasty. It's very stinky. This is my favorite.
Are there any crates that look different in here? Or are they all similar?
There might be like some that have a little bit of different shading on the wood on them. So they're not all made from the same material, even though it looks like that. There's only so many good crate assets there. So they all look a little bit different. Some are smaller, some are larger. Seems like they kind of are stacked, so it doesn't immediately fall over if you happen to stumble across onto them. But nothing that would like immediately stick out, like blood smeared all over it or whatever.
No markings from the docks or anything.
Not on any particular one of them.
Were there any other doors in this hallway?
No, you went through all of them. There was this one door up on the top side. There was this one door to this little crate room, one to the room the other person was in that you've killed, and the door to the room you're in right now.
So this moves back into the hallway and starts looking through this crate that was being used as a stool before. Also checking it over for marks. Checking it over for the marks.
All right. There doesn't look to be a mark on it, like not the one that Giya made before. And it is another crate filled with cloth.
Okay. She's starts removing the cloth, looking to see if there's a false bottom.
That's what I'm looking for in the cheese crate, by the way, is the false bottom. I'm not just emptying cheese
Sorry.
for the sake of it. No, it's fine.
For the one part, you emptying cheese, you eventually reach the bottom of the crate, and kind of like lifting it up and trying to see through it or reach, like kind of like put your hands together so you kind of get a feel of if this is the real floor. It seems to be the real floor of that crate with the cheese. Side effect, you have unloaded the cheese. The one you're currently investigating, Celes, seems to be that there is indeed mostly only cloth in there.
Okay. She proceeds into this room and starts ripping through crates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a similar thing. It seems to be like common goods. There is one crate that is missing its lid. That has a lot of bread in it.
Yeah.
And there is like one loaf of bread on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So far, the only evidence we have of illegally smuggled weaponry is most likely the ruined sword in the room. In the main
That
room.
Giya took.
Excuse me.
Has to be here somewhere,
Right.
Giya says.
Celes agrees. She starts running her fingers along all the walls, seeing if she can find any kind of passages, openings, other ways that they have missed.
In the room you're currently in?
She'd start there, and then she'd go, next room down, to check the hallway, and then just work her way clockwise around the entire basement.
What is everyone else doing? Quilby? And so on.
And
like you in this room, you notice like the crates were kind of like stacked, almost like a hallway from where you went in. And now that you're in the front of the smaller crate, where Giya and Celes put out all these pieces of paper and went through them, kind of like going over with some stuff with the crates, and then proceeded to unload cheese on the floor. You kind of notice that there is a similar hallway of crates in the other direction, like from as you're standing now, like to your left.
Do I see something more? Because honestly, does looks like just someone stacked those crates like to have much easier access to them.
I mean, you can make an investigation check trying to find out. Yeah. Kind of like going over like the way you went in and the way like this kind of like sideway goes. You kind of like go a bit down and look around and kind of like look at the wall on the end of it, and you notice like the normally very smooth and evenly tiled wall seems to have like a little, like just way too perfect, like a little frame like outline to the bricks in the wall.
Which one?
Kind of like went
Yeah.
through here, and you noticed like kind of like the outline of a door, except it just looks like a brick wall, like this general stone wall.
Was this closed off?
To your right? To your right?
It was this wall or that wall?
The wall to your left.
That wall.
I don't know what you see as left in this case. Okay, that's your right then.
Oh God.
Oh
You
God,
mean-
you can.
To the west, maybe?
Okay, we're gonna stick to north, south, east, west. To the west.
People are going to start rotating their avatars.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's upside
you notice this
down.
to on the wall to the western side of the room.
I'm just
Um,
kind of try to touching the wall.
Mm.
This seems kind of newish.
And Celes, you make your way like through this room. You're currently in with all the crates. You don't really notice anything off on the wall. Same with the one the person came out of previously. So you kind of like proceed through the hallway and kind of like step down again into the room with the others.
Ooh.
And yeah. And Quilby, as you're like kind of like going on the frame and trying to see if you can find something you can like push or pull or something that stands out, you kind of lean a bit against the frame like side of part of this wall, and it kind of like gives in and just opens almost like a door. It just kind of like slides open like a door into a room to the west.
I touch nothing.
Wonder,
I step where you step.
And as you kind of like, and it slides like slightly open. You can see a little bit of like faint blue light shines shines from the other room.
guys, I think I have found something.
Okay. I will go investigate what the something is.
I either have found something or broke something.
Well, I've been doing a lot of the latter. So I prefer it was the prior.
No promises.
What you got?
I think I've opened another room. Just take a look.
Okay.
And I just kind of like push this fake door, real fake door.
Real fake door. Yeah, it slides open, and the somewhat faint blue shine from this room gets like a little bit brighter. And yeah, the door seems to be sufficiently open. It kind of like, as you're looking over into it, it seems like this room goes on into like a small platform, and then has like a little curved fence or like small wall. And it goes on a bit to the left, and yeah, the wall kind of like stops on the far right side as well. You can step through it one tile to the west if you want.
I will, but
Yeah, it
very,
was just
very,
yeah.
very gently, cautiously. Very cautious.
Celes proceeds as well, saying, Giya, will you be joining us?
Giya's got like a mouthful of cheese. Mm-hmm.
She walks in. Excuse me. Okay.
All right. You kind of like step into the room, and there is a small, like you kind of notice you're standing like on a small circular side platform, a little bit elevated from the rest. There's a couple stairs going down immediately to the left of the door. Well, down to the south. And a couple stairs all the way on the northern western side of this platform. And yeah. And looking from up top down, you can see a small stone circle with 4 seemingly like small pillars or small arcs reaching up onto what looks to be like a small chalice or brazier. And in it seems to be suspended in the air a small blue gem that occasionally bursts into flame and just gently burns and illuminates the room with a very occasionally bright and otherwise a bit dim blue light. On the other side of this, well, construction, so to speak, seems to be a small reading desk. Yeah. On the far side, all the way on the western side, seems to be a small chest or, yeah, a small, well-sized chest. As well on the southern side seems to be a crate, as well as one that has its lid kind of like pushed over or open.
All right. I think this room will have what we're looking for. Everyone, let's see what we can find. And she proceeds over and starts trying to open this chest.
As you're kind of like walking down the stairs and looking about, you look up on the ceiling. The ceiling seems to be like somewhat loosely a bit dome-shaped, so the upper corners are kind of like rounded off. And in the middle of the room, kind of like on top of the construct on the bottom, seems to be like a circle drawn on the top side of it. And a couple circles just forming like the center of this dome-like ceiling.
Does it seem to be centered above this, or centered above the room in the middle?
It seems to be like kind of curving off and centered above the installation currently on the ground.
Okay.
As well as, and I've kind of like this kind of drowned in the rest of the description, there is another door on the northern side here.
Oh, yeah. Right here?
Yep. It's always kind of hard to try to cut it off correctly with the dynamic lighting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that door. And I'm going to take a peek inside.
Kind of like open it and try look through it.
20 guards. All with poison
Of course,
daggers.
it's just filled with guards. Like as you open it, just guards just fall into your face.
They just all pile out the door
It's
like a bunch of
those cupboards,
like a
you
bunch of
know?
dwarves at a hobbit's door.
Guards closet.
You just kind of open it. First, like, are you gonna listen or just open?
I'm gonna listen and then open.
All right, you kind of like listen a bit. You don't really hear something, you can take a minute and listen a bit longer, but up to you.
Okay, and I'm gonna open the door. Hang on.
All right.
Getting the chair squeak for the door open. Nice.
Yeah, you open the door, and it opens into another hallway. There is 3 crates stacked on top of each other on the eastern side of the hallway, somewhere seemingly almost halfway through, and the hallway continues further down. There is also 2 sets of doors on the western side of the hallway. You can also just step 1 tile up and be in it.
Blue. Quilby was just devoured by fog of war.
Oh no. Another one bites the dust.
Oh well, keep searching. Sorry.
And Giya will probably munch the cheese.
It's good cheese.
It's goat's cheese.
I'm gonna have a look in these crates in front of me.
Okay. The one with the closed lid, you kind of like grab the lid and try and slide it off, and you look into it, and it seems to be that there are. It seems relatively empty. And there is a couple things in there that seem to be like you can kind of like see it through a thin layer of silk.
Okay.
Seems to be that there are things wrapped in cloth or silk in there.
I'm gonna very carefully take them out.
All right, you take the first thing and pull it out and unwrap it, or just keep it wrapped.
I will unwrap it. I'll unwrap them as I go.
All right. You kind of like take the first thing out. It seems to be that there are 2 gemstones wrapped in the first one. And,
Okay.
kind of wrapped it, place it on the floor next to you. Take the next one out, and it seems to be that there is like one just kind of like mundane looking rock and another kind of like rock. So you kind of take that off the side, take the next one. It's another 2 gemstones embedded in silk and kind of like carefully wrapped.
Are any of them? Oh, sorry. Are any of them onyx?
Kind of looking through them. There's probably 1 or 2 that seem to resemble an onyx.
Okay. So far I found 4. Is that right?
Over the course of this, you probably find like 15 to 20 to 25 gems overall.
I'm gonna try and keep them like in the way that like I don't want to get them mixed up. Like so I'm gonna as I unwrap them I'll leave them like in the
Like they are.
cloth. Just kind of unwrapped there. So
Okay.
just set them on the floor.
All right. Sarren, you are, I guess, inspecting things.
Yeah, I'm looking around at this weird floating blue thing, and is that a box or a crate or some chest?
The thing right next to you seems to be like a reading desk of some kind. There's like an angled piece of wood and like a little stopper on the bottom, so it seems like there would be well fitted to just place a book there and read from it.
Is there anything on it or in it or?
There seems to be 1 book beneath, like the reading desk has like a little piece of like shelf, so to speak, below it, and there seems to be 1 book lying in there.
I'll pull it out and look at it.
All right, you kind of pull it out and put it on the reading desk and flip a few pages through it. It seems to be littered with runes and arcane words, and yeah, kind of get the idea that this seems to be like some part of an incantation.
Okay. I just yell, I found a book. It has runes. I can't read it. Can y'all read it?
Careful it doesn't bite you.
I just put it back. I just drop it on the desk.
I found all
I
these
kind of
gems.
wander around like, oh, what are you doing over here?
I'm searching in the chest crate thing in front of me.
I look around. Did we see Quilby go into the door? I didn't even.
From this point, it's like a little bit hard trying to see above the balcony because it's like almost 10 feet up, so the stairs are like quite a ways down. So might have been hard seeing Quilby go.
I think he's just at the top of the stairs here. Yeah, help me lift this up. And she tries opening.
Alright, I'll help.
Right. Both are gonna try opening this chest.
Yes.
Mhm.
Alright, give me a second. I'm just gonna find where I put the notes for this. Sorry.
Too many notes. Not enough notes.
All right. Yeah, there is a lock in front of it. So as you like kind of like get on it, you notice that it seems to be locked.
Well, seeing as I didn't find any keys on the guards, I take out my little hand axe and I start hacking at the lock.
All right, roll an attack.
Okie dokie.
I'm pretty sure that will hit. Yeah.
Don't break anything, Giya says.
She says I'll mend it.
I'm talking about the contents of the chest. She's like thinking back to the barrel with the potions. That was not fun.
I won't stick my weapon inside.
You slash against the chest, and you try to really hit the small locking part between the lock and where it's like kind of like locked to.
Mm-hmm.
And you hit it like really nicely, and it cuts it straight off.
Nice.
The lock kind of like smashes against the floor. And yeah.
And there it stays. Open lid.
All right, you open the lid, and
the stairs down.
More stairs down. And it seems to be like the entire floor of it is just littered and covered with gold pieces. And on top of them lie two
baby dragons. Sorry. I said baby dragons. Sorry.
Two small dragons. You're surprised. Firecraft in your face.
Poke dragons. They pop out of their Pokeballs. You're screwed.
There are two small vials lying on top of the gold, as well as one very large, like from one corner of the chest to the other corner, kind of diagonally, there is this one very large, dark wooden staff. There's like a few green carvings in it. There's like a couple intricate runes, kind of like circularly carved around it, all the way from the base to the top.
Ooh.
And on its top seems to be like encased in this like small wooden it is like small wooden frame with a couple of vines wrapped around it, a small emerald, like this really nicely carved green gem.
Okay, so she reaches in, she grabs the staff, tosses it to...
And it's like, as you kind of like reach in and pull it out, it seems pretty heavy.
Okay.
Like it seems heavier than what we would expect from this kind of staff.
She picks it up and she hands it over to Sarren and says, "Does this look like anything you've seen before?" And she returns and looking at the rest of the contents, which you said was gold, the staff, and what else?
And 2 vials of one being like some orange-ish kind of liquid, and the other one being almost like the gold beneath it.
Okay.
I'll inspect the stuff and see what I can figure out.
Well, it's definitely like a really nice staff, and looks kind of expensive. And well, occasionally, like if you just sit down and have a look at it for a while, you can occasionally see like one of the runes flash a little bit. But yeah,
She
I mean, you can try to spend a little bit of time with it and potentially try and find out a little bit more about it.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do.
Mechanically speaking, I'm asking you if you want to tune to it or not.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, just going for it.
in the meantime, I'll take the 2 vials and I'll put them in
Your mouth.
my
Sorry.
Jesus. In my one in each of my vest pockets. So I've got 4 vials in my vest pockets right now.
Okay.
And actually, I've only got 3 because I only had one of those green liquid ones. What were the colors again of them?
One was orange-ish, and the other one was very like golden yellow color.
It was yellow.
Almost like golden yellowish.
Okay. Yellow gold. Well, all right. And she grabs a small handful of coins.
How much is a small handful? Like
It
in
doesn't matter because
relation
she's not going to
to
keep them.
the entire contents of the chest.
No, it doesn't matter because she's not going to keep them. She's just like enough to fill one handful, and she'll just kind of like dribble a few on the ground and proceed to walk up this. Yeah, and she'll proceed to walk up the stairs, dropping 1 or 2 as she goes.
What are you doing? Giya says.
She says, "Well, we know what's going on here. We're not supposed to be known that the hand is involved. So I'm trying to make it look like perhaps the 2 guards we ran into had a bit of a row with each other."
Ting, 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 ting.
I think we can make it. Well, we can. Alright, I see your point.
On top of the
Yes.
riot that ended up happening through the front gate. By the way, a riot happened through the front gate. I forgot to tell you.
So, Giya's kind of
Part
like.
of this-
Also, well, we might want to do something with these then. And she gestures to all the gems that she's kind of unwrapped, and they're all sitting on the floor in front of the crates. But she says, "But what does this thing do?" And she's gonna walk over to the blue flame thingy.
She says, "Careful. That seems to resemble, or at least the setup does, what we found at Furnace's place with all the empty chalice."
I was thinking the same thing, but that doesn't explain what it does. I'm kind of looking at it, studying a bit more closely.
You kind of like look really closely. It occasionally like flares with fire.
Oh, that's really
Um,
bright.
So it's occasionally like really, really bright.
Oh, that's burning my eyes a
At this
little bit.
point, Celes also says, "Oh, Quilby's not up here. Anybody
Ding,
see
ding,
him come down? Quilby?"
You can hear Celes from the other room, Quilby.
I'm just gonna go back and pop out.
Oh, there you are.
Ta-da!
I didn't even realize there was a door there. Did you find
Did you
anything
close
of
the
interest?
door or you leave it open?
I think I closed the door behind myself.
Did you find anything of interest that way?
that depends. More there are more rooms, and I have not ventured far.
Well, it's likely we may end up finding those crates we were looking for in those rooms that you found just now. We seem to have found some black onyx. Another chalice, similar to that which we found at Furnace's Manse. And strangely, a large chest full of perhaps blood gold. I don't know. Or
Is
perhaps
the heat coming off of this blue flame? Like, Giya's going to kind of put her hand out towards it.
Especially when it flares up, it's like almost like a heat wave that just washes against you. It's very different from the torch you've picked up and experienced around this place.
It's like a terrarium like.
I say, I wish I understood magic better. I'm kind of like putting my hand up to it.
Celes says, as do I.
Sarren, do you have any idea what this thing is?
No, I have no clue. I'll walk back over to the desk and pick up the book. I'm like, this was in the desk, so do we...
Yeah, let me see if I can read that, and she'll walk over to you.
Sure, but if it bites you, it's not my fault.
Says, thanks. And she tries to identify, what the writing is in it.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okie dokie.
Trying to discern what this could mean.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
She also knows Draconic, if that helps.
The language written in here is mostly just arcane words.
Okay.
And a couple like descriptions on how things are to be arranged or something. Like there's little occasionally like little drawings in it. Like Lego pieces, like put this piece here. And
Arcane Tetris.
Yep.
Almost.
And it talks a lot about seems to be like storing things. Like you've heard about things being bigger on the inside than on the outside, and
okay,
this like alludes to something like this. You're not quite sure what. Like as it just goes on, like similar to these effects, it then just goes wildly in a different direction. So it's really hard to piece together what this incantation is supposed to like piece together. But it seems to be very intricate and something to do with storage.
Does there seem to be any kind of title written on the outside of the book, perhaps?
No, the book has no cover.
Oh, okay. That's sad. All right. She says, well, I can't quite make it out, though it seems to be a bit all over the place, but from what I can gather, it seems to have something to do with a storage incantation, but I'm unsure as to the rest of the details of it. I think we should...
Are you standing up there? Like, are you remaining there next to the door?
No, I... Oh, him? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of...
As you're saying this, Celes, like just talking about like this having to do with storage and something incantation. From the side door, you guys have entered in. It seems to be a rather well-dressed elven woman walks in. She seems to have a rather like long green cape or mantle just hanging off of her back. She holds in one hand a silvery staff with a orange-red glimmering gem sitting on top of it, and very large, not very large, very like long, almost like golden yellow hair just drifting down her back. And she says, "Well, yes, this indeed still deals with storage of spells. And what might you all be looking here for?" And she gestures with the staff around the room. And that's where we're gonna leave it for today.
Oh dear.
Uh-oh. Is this one quick
We're
question?
in trouble.
Is this the woman that we saw leave earlier?
No.
Oh, okay. Offer her some
So, yeah.
cheese.
Would you like some cheese?
I have some cheese here. What do you like?
Red like cheese.
Maybe she'd like some tarts.
Woo!
A flick of his wrist and what was it? Anyway.
All right.
Thanks everybody
Thank
for
you.
coming out. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Hellfire.
Hellfire, for DMing once again. Thank you, players. Thank you, viewers. And we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.